Hey everybody, Matthew here from the Mini Wargaming Forge, and I got some fun little updates for you today. I want to focus mainly on one we did not invent, we did not even discover, but other people have already been doing, but now that I tried it out, I think it's the coolest thing in the world, and I am super excited. Now, I'm sure you already know about the Hex and Hills line of products. Obviously, these little hexes that you can turn into beautiful campaign maps for your role-playing campaigns and miniature wargaming campaigns. But what some people have done is taking these tiles and scaled them down so you can have even larger maps take up less space. I want to show you a little experiment that I had James do today and how that turned out. Say hi, James.
Hey.
James is painting tons and tons of buildings. Then we gave some to Adam from Greenleaf Terrain to paint up as well. These are from Wargame Forge. They're for the Epic 30K Legion Imperialis. But that's not what we're talking about right now. We're talking about these lovely hexes. As I learned from the guys at Graven Guild, they like to say, "Keep it hexy." I think that's not going to be my new tagline now. Keep it hexy, everybody. Anyway, so these are just regular ones. We've got a plains, we've got a mountains, we've got a little settlement. These are all printed FDM with PLA, so they're great. They work out really well. It might be hard to see all the details without them being painted. But then I thought, no, we got to try smaller versions, so that I can print larger maps in smaller areas. So these are 75%. Now, if you're going to scale them down, you got to switch over to resin. Maybe these ones would print okay FDM. Haven't really experimented with that. But you're going to get these higher detailed ones like the settlements and obviously the Epic City stuff. Then I have a funny feeling the FDM is going to have a hard time getting all those little details. And then this is at 50% scale. So 50% smaller in every direction. So actually, that would make it volume-wise, what is that? 2 times 2, so this would be volume-wise 4 times taller, or 4 times larger than these. As you're going in 2 directions there. No, I guess it'd be 8 times. We're talking volume. You cube it, right? So if you're printing these resin, they can normally cost a lot of money, but these cost hardly anything. And so that's awesome. And so what I wanted to do this for is because this morning I came in saying, James, I want to print some big maps from D&D. And specifically the map of Chult from Tomb of Annihilation and Barovia from Curse of Strahd. I've actually done both of those campaigns with my groups. I just love to have those hanging on my wall. But when you look at the actual hexes for it, they would take up like 7,000 tiles, which would cost me $1,500 in resin. Not quite as much if I do it PLA. I could probably do that for just a few $100 in PLA, but it'd be huge. It would be 4 to 5 times larger than my big Lost Cities map upstairs, and it would just be ridiculous. So if you scale it down, however, and on top of that, if I don't make the hexes quite as granular as what they show on those maps, then I can do it for way less. In other words, I can fit in a 3-foot by 2-foot map, or 2-foot by 3-foot actually, the entire thing if I do it at this scale. And it goes from costing me $1,500 in resin to like $300 in resin, $200 in resin, a lot less for little maps like that. Anyways, I've been rambling on long enough here. So we're also printing off some bigger buildings from Wargame Forge. This is actually half the building, so it's 4 of these pieces with the other half, those going there. We also had a discussion about input shaping. We both learned exactly what it is, because I was kind of talking about it like I knew what it was. And then it turns out I was kind of right. So it's essentially a machine's ability to compensate for vibrations in order to be able to move faster. And so the Bamboo Lab stuff already have that, but the Prusa Mark IIIs do not. The Prusa Mark IVs now have that, but I was just quickly reading and found out that somebody thinks they cracked how to update these things to have input shaping and allow them to print just as fast as the Bamboo Labs. If we can figure that out, of course, that would save me a bit of money, because eventually I have to buy more bamboos to replace these, because they're just too slow. All 3 of these print at the speed pretty much of one of the bamboos. So I've tasked James with being a detective and hunting down that information and see if he can figure it out. Can you crack the code turning a Prusa Mark III into a Bamboo X1 carbon? What do you think? Do you think you'll be able to figure it out?
I'm certainly going to try.
I have my doubts for a couple of reasons. I don't doubt James, but there's still more to why the bamboos print better, and its input shaping is part of that, but there's also some quality of parts and things that I'm curious if you're going to be able to pull off with the nozzle and the hot end that they have inside of the Prusas. But if we figure that out, then anybody who currently owns a Mark III can skip purchasing the Bamboo P1P and just apply those upgrades, which would be pretty cool. Anyways, this video's gone on long enough. Don't think there's anything else to show. Anything else going on? No? No? All right. Well, this is Matthew and James. As always, keep it hexy. Happy 3D printing.